welcome back. I'm on a personal quest to axe Groupon and Tipper from your email right now. Because as we just talked about at break, I think all these emails are just, they're like Operation Time Suck and Money Suck on the things you're trying to accomplish. When you can take the time to really focus on the things that interest you and the things that are important to you, well, then that's when you can become an expert in those things or accomplish certain goals. George Beasley joins us, broker with Residential Seattle in Windermere, residentialseattle.com. Well, first, welcome back, George. How are you?
Real good, Ben. Thanks for having me back.
My pleasure. And so, this idea of focus. You have been kind of one of those guys who really has been able to focus on what you found to be the most, I guess, important things in real estate in your business, being these top areas of Seattle.
Yeah, well, I am a lifelong Seattleite, so I'm a Seattle native. So I live in the Queen Anne area, so I really focus my business from that standpoint. And I look at the best Seattle neighborhoods are the ones where people really want to buy. Queen Anne, Capitol Hill, Belltown, Wallingford, Fremont, Ballard. Ballard is a really hot spot. All these neighborhoods are really close to the city. And what I did was really focus my business there, and I really dominated those neighborhoods by using the internet, which is something that not many agents have really done successfully, but I managed to find a way through a website that has become quite popular and a huge amount of repeat business on it.
You said you get something like 1 million page views a month?
A year.
A year?
Yeah, which is still huge for an agent website. So
it's huge. But you've been able to do that really you've decided what's important to you in your business, focused on these key neighborhoods, and you're not focused on trying to find somebody a house in Everett if that's where somebody is looking. You're focused on helping people find a house in the neighborhoods you know and you excel in.
Yeah, that's do what you know, and I know these neighborhoods inside and out. So, with the website being as popular as it is, I get many calls. And when people call me, they can't stump me because I'll know the neighborhood. If it's a condominium, I'll know the building, and I can talk to it and speak to it very intelligently. And this is really valuable for my clients.
And especially in these neighborhoods that, they're older, at least in Seattle's world of old. There's no houses, I don't think, probably older than early 1900s. But this becomes a very big part of what you can do because you're not touring neighborhoods trying to figure out where things are. You are able to maintain your clients or educate your clients by just simply knowing the things you know because you focused on them. There's the peripheral isn't there.
Yes, absolutely. So market education is huge, and we've talked about this last time I was here. And that's a big part of my business. I really like people to take their time. I can educate them on these neighborhoods. I can show them the ins and outs, show them the areas to stay away from. And it's just a very valuable service.
So what do you see right now in the downtown market?
Excellent question. In-city condos.
Thank you. That's why I'm here.
In-city condos. Condos, they were the rage, 2004, 2005, 2006, and then they just flopped. They hit bottom. They actually have slid since that time. And if you've owned a condo in that time, you've watched your values go down. You've thought about selling, and it's been kind of a scary thought. You've seen short sales and foreclosures, and not many homeless moving in the condo market. But this year, we have seen a huge increase in interest. And I think it's because really you have buyers that have been watching, and now they see the value. Prices are down. Inventory's down. People need homes. People want to live in the city.
Yeah, that, and the more jobs are coming to the city where condos are. Do you tend to think that, there's no condos being built down there right now?
Nothing being built.
So with the lack of new condos, and it's not like you just build a new condo overnight, that would just mean that the amount that are there is certainly fixed, and that may end up being one of those better investments as a place to live.
Well, it is. And of course, if you just look at the price of gas right now, think of people that work downtown and have to commute. Commutes are huge. There's a lot of advantages for the condo buyer. Just the thought of a turnkey lifestyle. Living easy is a very nice thing. No commuting, amenities right out your door. You live on Capitol Hill in a condominium, you walk out the door, there is everything right there. Downtown, the same thing.
Even like your gym, you don't have, a lot of them have gyms and.
Right there, absolutely, yeah. They're secure, low maintenance, and low cost comparatively to a single family residence.
When you start thinking about those as advantages, I mean, there's also, it's not always just that rosy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they do come with some cost.
Yeah, they do. And I think probably the most common question I get, or I should say comment, and this is really from the first-time buyer, somebody that's not really into the market yet. They say, I'm not sure I want to buy a condo because I don't want to pay the dues. And dues are something that come with the condominium, but I'm just surprised at how many people don't understand that dues actually pay for things that you have to have anyway. Water, sewer, garbage, maintenance on the building. If you have amenities, concierge, swimming pool, whatever they might be.
Concierge, that's something people need anyways,
yes,
of course.
These things cost money, and if you own a house, the reality is you're paying water, sewer, garbage, natural gas, all these things you're paying for as well. But instead of writing to the association, you're paying it to the individual utility companies.
Well, and the other big thing on the house, and it's when you have to paint your house, it's just you. When you have to replace something, it's just you. The maintenance on houses is expensive.
It is, yes, and that kind of comes to the other side of the condominium, where if you have a special assessment, this is something that really scares people. I don't want to buy a condo because there's going to be a special assessment. Well, the reality is if you own a house, you're going to special assess yourself all year long by the things that you have to do to maintain it. So
that's an interesting way to put it.
It's very true. You're going to need a new
Your
furnace
wife
someday.
is going to specially assess these things when you don't need it.
And that's a better point. Yes, your wife will special assess you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I get myself in trouble. It's, my thing. Yeah, I mean, but that is true. You get into these places or a home and there is maintenance. It just isn't set price every month. But then the big bills come, and that's when you got to dump the $2,000, $3,000 into a new deck or rotting wood or whatever, paint, windows, all these different things that can start happening.
Absolutely. And with a condominium, of course, that is all paid for by the association, handled by the association. So it's really a kind of a hands-off situation for you. A lot of people really find this an advantage, as I do myself as a condo dweller myself.
Condo dweller.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how you help people really make smart choices as far as whether it's a condo, a house, or neighborhood.
Well, because we know the neighborhoods well, we can speak to the advantages and disadvantages of the neighborhoods. And the neighborhoods you have to look at really as, there is Queen Anne, and then there's North Queen Anne, there is South Slope Queen Anne, there's interurban West Side. These are all micro neighborhoods, so we can speak specifically to those neighborhoods and really help guide people through what's going to be best for them, for their lifestyle, for their budget and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, North Queen Anne and South Slope of Queen Anne, I mean, those are two very different.
Very different, yes, yeah. And understanding the values on those, because you can get tricked up by some of these things where it says Queen Anne, a house, $700,000. That's really quite different on the North Slope of Queen Anne than it would be on top of the hill. And just understanding these differences is very important, and we know that very well.
And then what about on the condo side? It's kind of the same thing. These are, I guess, as you say, micro markets, each condo as much as different parts of a hill are.
Yeah, with condos, it's really by the building, and this is something that just takes years to get the knowledge. Every building is unique, and the associations run differently. And there are buildings that we can really promote highly because we know it's going to be a great building, a great living experience, and a strong association. There are, unfortunately, some buildings that are in trouble, and these are buildings that we want to stay away from. And we get calls for some of these buildings, and it's a quick conversation. That is going to be a tough building, and here's why, because we know it right now.
And certainly that becomes a key part to being able to help somebody appropriately through the buying process, is if you know the building is going to work for them or not.
Yeah, because people's situation is different. If they're going to finance a condo, a buyer must qualify for a loan. A building must qualify for the lender. So these buildings, you need to know with the situation of these buildings so that you don't get a buyer in a situation where they're getting their hopes up for a building, writing an offer on a condo that, as it turns out, they're just not going to be able to get due to whatever the special financing situation is that building does not qualify for.
And what about, how do you inspect a condo? I mean, we're here with George Beasley of residentialseattle.com, talking about the downtown Seattle market specifically. And how do you go about inspecting a condo building? Yeah,
well, people think of inspection as a physical inspection, which you do have. But the most important inspection of any condo building is going to be the association. And this is a set of documents that you get. A good realtor like myself is going to walk you through all the right questions to ask this association because you want to know how strong they are. So you're going to inspect the finances of the building. You're going to read through the CC&Rs. You're going to read through their meeting minutes. And this gives you a really good picture as to how the association runs. You're looking for something down the road that might be a major problem. The biggest one being, are they headed towards some litigation, which could really cause problems for the building.
Cause a lot of problems for financing.
As for financing as well.
Or your view ends up wrapped in plastic while they.
Absolutely.
We've seen those.
We've seen a lot of that.
George, again, we just have about a minute left before we have to go to break. Any other, what do you see happening in the downtown condo market over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, that's a really good question, but I think we're going to see continued desire for condominiums. We're going to need some new buildings here pretty soon because there is just you have a Scala and Olive 8, which they're going to be selling out here sometime in the next year or two, and there's not going to be much left. So we're going to need something new coming up. So
I remember when a Scala dropped their price. I think when they opened up the cheapest unit, there was something around 1.1 million. And then I remember they did a huge ad in the Seattle Times, dropping it, almost half the price.
It was about 50% price reduction.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Well, George, thanks so much for joining us. Again, George Beasley of ResidentialSeattle.com, where you can also find him. When we...